Hello everybody and welcome back to Just a Girl and Her Knitting. Today is March 1st, 2024. It's Friday. Yay for Fridays. My name is Heather and you can find me on Instagram and Ravelry. I'll post them down below, my usernames. I want to say thank you to everybody who is new and joining, and for those who've been here before, thank you and welcome back. I do appreciate it. And today we're going to talk about the usual, some whips, some finished objects, maybe some dream knitting, some dream projects I would like to work on or finish, I guess. More like finish. We have a very busy month of March planned. My work was really busy for the month of February. Last night was closing, and so for the very first time I've ever worked till 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And my eyes hurt today from staring at my computer screen for 14 hours. So I'm happy closing's over. We'll have a whole nother month and a whole nother closing, which is fine. At least I didn't have to leave and go into an office to do closing because I work from home. So there is a perk there. But today is Friday. I believe, yeah, it's Friday because I'm not at work. I work 4/10s. And so I'm going to be doing my usual house things. I have a doctor's appointment today. Then next Friday, the 8th, we are going to go stay in Coeur d'Alene because on the 9th we have, well, I'm going to the log cabin. It's not log cabin. That was the one in Coeur d'Alene. Going to the Cabin Fever Spinning, held down in Moscow at the fairgrounds, Moscow, Idaho. And that will be a lot of fun. I get to go visit my spinning friends and ladies because I don't get to go to spinning group on Mondays. I think they hold them Mondays and Thursdays. I can usually go to the ones on Saturdays if I haven't already had something planned. Usually my plans are helping my husband with the basement, but I'll get to go down, get to do some shopping, get to hang out. That will be fun. I don't know what I want to buy. I usually get a couple sweaters quantity. I bought 2 fleeces last year to process. I think I might get a couple fleeces again. I do have one that's not clean at all. It's out at the lake. And then I have a clean one in my closet back here that I just need to finish processing and getting it spun up. Then I have another one I need to finish spinning. I've been spinning it on my electric eel wheel nano, so it's taking me a little bit longer. It was about a 2-pound fleece. The nieces helped clean and process it last year, so it was a lot of fun. But that's next Saturday, and then I work a week. How many weeks are there in March? I'm not sure. But so today, doctor's appointment. Next weekend, well, I work all week. Well, I work the week, and then I go down to Moscow for the Cabin Fever Spinning, which is really fun. It's hosted by the Yarn Underground, Shelly. She is awesome. She's so much fun. And then I work, and then I have surgery on the 19th. I'll be off for 4 days plus weekend. So hopefully I'll be able to get some knitting time in. I'm hoping to at least have a few things finished by then. If I haven't started anything new. No more. Well, I'm not going to say no more. I feel like I'm going to start something new, but I don't want to because I have a test knit that I have 2 test knits. I have 3 test knits that I need to finish. Let's be real. There's 3. There's 3 of them. One of them isn't due until May, so I have time on that. But I want to get those finished. One is a sweater, a test knit sweater. One is a pair of socks, another pair of socks, 2 are socks. The one of them I should have done this weekend, but we'll see. So I guess let's get into the knitting, since I rambled for 5 minutes about what's going on in just 1 month. Yeah. So we'll start with finished objects today. I guess we can start with what I'm wearing. I am wearing my everyday cardigan that I knit as a test knit for Christie Archer Designs. I'll stand up and show you. So it's just a raglan, move my hair. So raglan V-neck cardigan with the button band and ribbing. Has 4 inches of ribbing on the cuff and on the hem. I don't normally do my sleeve decreases. I don't normally put decreases in. I usually knit the sleeve, then wrap a decrease at the cuff, because I prefer a sleeve that's not so tight. But since I was knitting this as a test knit, I made sure that I followed all the instructions. I'm still debating on if I'm going to rip out the ribbing or the button band, the band, and add length on the bottom. It's knit to pattern, and I do usually prefer my sweaters a little more cropped. So I'm not sure. I thought I'd wear it today and see how I feel about it, see if I want to, if that's something I'm going to want to do. I'll have ample time this year. It's March in the inland Northwest, so who knows at this point when winter's going to end and spring's going to happen. We've had crazy weather. It's what always happens here. Usually when I go down to Moscow for the cabin fever spin-in, there's snow. It's snowing. And it's a 2-hour drive from here. I live in Spokane Valley, Washington. And so I'm right on the border-ish. I'm only a few miles from the border of Washington and Idaho. But no matter what, every time we go down to Moscow, it's always snowed. It's either snowed the night we head down, because we usually go down on a Friday and stay and hang out. And then on Saturday, we will drive from wherever we're at. We'll drive to Moscow. My husband, usually what we do is we'll stay at like one of the casinos and have dinner, and then we'll drive up to Moscow. So gives us or we'll stay at a hotel in Moscow, or just depends on what's going on in the town. It's usually about spring break for WSU and University of Idaho. So sometimes things are not open or things are full. So it just depends. My husband doesn't care to have to drive anywhere, so staying in Lewiston puts us 30 minutes from Moscow. Staying in Coeur d'Alene puts us about 45 minutes to an hour. I'm only 30 minutes from Coeur d'Alene. So, I don't know, 30 minutes, 45 minutes from Coeur d'Alene, something like that. I don't know. The way we go, it doesn't seem like it takes very long. But, so we're staying in Coeur d'Alene Friday night and Saturday night. Our friends are coming in from North Dakota to, they're just coming over on a road trip. And so they're going to come and hang out with us Saturday night, and we're going to hang out, and then we'll come home on Sunday. Where was I going with that? I'm not sure. But anyways, so this is finished. I still need to decide if I'm going to rip it out or not. I have the yarn. It's in Felici Yarn Company in there. Let me find out. In their Clearwater worsted in the color Lilacs, which is lilacs are very popular here. We have a lilac parade every year in downtown Spokane. I don't know when it is. I don't think I've ever been, but I know about it. I know when I was in high school, the band would come march in it, but I don't know. So let's go ahead and get started. Everything that I have today that's finished is going to be socks. I didn't finish my Stephen West shawl. I got a good chunk done. It's a lot of knitting. I knew it was going to be a lot of knitting. And then I signed up for that one. 3 test knits. One of them is a sweater, like I was saying. And the other 2 are socks. I've done 4, or I've signed up for 4 test knits. 1 pair's done. I can't show those until May because it's a secret. Then I have another pair I can't show. I can show you the yarns. That one I think is releasing in April, and then I'll be able to share it. It's for Nancy of Knit Set Pappy. 2 of them are for Nancy of Knit Set Pappy. One is a sequel to a pair of socks that she designed last year that was super fun. And so, sorry. And so, yeah. So I've been knitting socks and a sweater. I knit my Stephen West, not my Stephen West shawl, but it's not done. So all of my finished objects are socks. Go figure. Oh, and a pair of a set of dishcloths. I did those in between work things. We had some issues with our computer system and it had gone down, and I can't do anything when my system's down. So I crocheted some dishcloths, and I worked on some socks. I worked on some of my sweater, or not my sweater, my Stephen West shawl. It was hours of not having anything done. So we'll start with not having anything to do. We'll start with my dishcloths. These are going to be a Knit Picks dishie in, I think I have the tag down here. Nope. Put it somewhere. Felici. I'm not sure. Oh well, it's fine. Just know it's Knit Picks dishie. It's a color that they always seem to have. You can get them in there. You can get them in sets where you can get all of them. But these are crocheted. So, double crochet, I think. We have 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. These are just gonna go in my I have in my closet. I have a drawer that I've been putting all my dishcloths in for me to give away to my mother-in-law for her church. And then for anyone who needs them, if they want some, I can just give them to them. I have them available. If anyone needs some. So my next finished object is my Yarnable sock. My Yarnable yarn of this month. It's the colorway is Love. And here's the socks. So I have 2. I haven't washed these yet and blocked them. I just put them on the blockers. They're for the niece. And so I just wanted to make sure that they fit her sock blockers. I cranked these on my Earl Blocker Gerhardt sock knitting machine. So I decided I'm going to start knitting or cranking her socks with a few more rows in the foot because she's growing. So if her feet grow before she gets these, I don't know when I plan on giving them to her. I don't know if they're going to be Christmas, if I'm just going to give them to her. I haven't decided. She did get all of her socks, all of her shorty socks that I cranked the other day, and she was ecstatic. She was so happy. So we'll see if when I give these to her, but they're ready. They're done and ready. I have little tiny sock blockers for her feet. I got these on Amazon. They came in a 3-pack. So they came with small, medium, large. I think these are the small ones. So that's one pair. I finished this pair from last month. The only thing I had left was finishing one heel. Do I need sock blockers for these? For all the rest of these socks? Hold on, let me get some sock blockers. Is there some under here? Alright, I'm back. I didn't have to go too far. I have a table that my husband built me over there. This room's not very big, and so I don't have to go far. Like, this is a desk that goes all the way to the wall. Then my computer desk is here. I call it my knitting table. It's there. Then my circular sock machine is right here, and then my closet. So I don't have to go too far when I'm looking for things, unless it happens to be upstairs. In the living room, there's a cabinet or a weird closet thing. It has no doors, so it's a yarn closet. So anyways, so here they are. I don't know what this yarn is. It's very deep stash that I had just knit a tube in. Then I added the toe and the heel. I did a cut-in afterthought heel. I watched Kirby Werby, her cut-in afterthought heel video, and that's how I do all my afterthought heels. I don't typically, like, I know some people will knit a row in contrast, and that's where they'll pick out. I don't do that because I don't always know who's getting the socks. Okay. The only time I know who's getting socks 100% of the time is my mother-in-law, because she can't wear wool. She's allergic to wool, and so I have to use non-wool yarns for her socks. So she's the only person who knows, or who I know. So when I do a tube and I'm adding in my heel, it gives me the flexibility to be able to measure for whoever I want to knit for. That way I'm not stuck on who gets them. Well, and I don't need socks, but I like to wear them, so a lot of times they are for me. And then I just picked up and knit with the purple and then bound off. And so we have these. I swear this purple yarn is never ending. I still have this much left. So I have enough to do heels, toes, and cuffs on another pair of socks. It's never ending. And while we were down in, my husband and I, we went away for a weekend. Last weekend, I think it was. We just went away for the night. We ended up in Moscow, and I went to the Yarn Underground, which is Shelly's yarn store, and I bought one of their mystery packs, sock packs. So you get three skeins or 3 balls of yarn. It's like $30. It's like $10 a skein. And that's how I'd gotten this one. well, I got another one of these in this really pretty blue. So it's going to be great for heels, toes, and cuffs. And it's never going to end. So another pair I finished. I cranked these also on my machine. So the purple pair I hand knit. This pair I cranked. It's a Knit Picks Felici. I did an E-wrap cast on for the cuff. And then it just rolls. A deep short row heel and then a toe. We have 2 of them. I did these out of 1 50-gram skein of yarn. I had very little left over. I think I had like less than 10 grams left over. So it took me only 40 grams-ish to make this pair of socks. I'm gonna have a lot of shorty socks for this summer until I start wearing my Birkenstocks. I guess spring, we'll call it spring. I'll have a lot of shorty socks to wear this spring because I usually wear my Birkenstocks all summer long. Unless for some reason it's raining. I don't wear my tennis shoes, but. All right, here's another pair. This is also Knit Picks Felici. Same thing. An E-wrap. Cast on. It rolls the top. A deep heel. My toe. One of these I had to re-knit. I don't know what I did. But for some reason, I'm not sure which one it is. I don't know. When I crank these, because these are on my Erlbacher. When I cranked them, one foot came out way shorter. And I don't know why. No clue. So I don't know if, I don't know. I don't know if I accidentally left my heel spring on and didn't realize it. I don't know if it was just went on my cone too tight and was coming off too tight. I have no clue. So I had to rip one out and re-crank it, which was fine. I knit it. I did that in like 20-30 minutes. That's how long it takes me to crank a pair of shorty socks on my machine. So that's 3 pairs. I did finish my hen house socks. So last month I was pretty much to the foot. Oh, these need bigger blockers. I was on the toe. I was getting ready to start. I was either getting ready to start the toe or start the color work on the last toe. I don't remember exactly. But I did get it finished that night or that day. I knit it on my lunch break. And so, I don't know how to hold these. And so we have 2. So these were a test knit for Only the Good Things. And her pattern has been released. So it's an all over, it's a color work sock. So you start with your cuff. I added this extra stripe here, knit my chickens, and then you do a 1x1 with an eye of partridge heel. I'm not sure of the heel. I don't like heel flaps on gussets, but I do knit them. And then you finish down, and then I added this stripe here, and then just did a basic knit around, decrease around toe. On the socks I knit for Nancy, when I test knit her socks, I do a rounded toe because I do follow her pattern. I haven't decided which one I like per se better, whether I like this toe or a rounded toe. Not always are the socks that I test knit for Nancy for me, because I always do I test knit the 72 stitch socks, which is usually what she needs. There's always a lot of people who do the 64. And so, because I usually give the socks to my husband, to my son, my mother-in-law, they wear a 72 stitch sock. And so I will, I usually knit them for her, or knit those ones, Nancy's socks, for other people, so I don't really wear them. I am knitting this pair for me though. So, hen house socks, They're super cute. It's a great stash busting project. So if you have a few calf skeins, I used Mandi's Making for these. I used her the pumpkin patch share pair that I had gotten. And so I used one 50-gram skein. So I ended up with, I think like 1 gram, 2 grams left of the main color. I used only like 8 grams of the white, and then of the variegated other color, I only used like 18 grams, something like that. So it was definitely a great stash buster. I could knit more of them if I wanted to. I have more Mandi's Making share pairs, quite a few actually. So I have more to do that. I haven't decided yet if I want to knit another pair. Other than vanilla socks, I'm not one to knit the same pair of socks more than once. And I don't know why. It's just something I don't do. Unless it's a pattern that I really, really enjoy and I know people are gonna enjoy it. I really don't. That's part of the reason why I have my sock knitting machine now, because I knit mostly always. Always, I say mostly. I almost always knit vanilla socks. That's my go-to. It's easy, I don't have to think about it. I know a lot of people don't like vanilla socks because they're boring. I prefer them for that reason. I prefer them for the reason that I can just knit them. I can knit them in the dark, I can knit them in the car. Sound like Dr. Seuss. So I can knit them when I'm walking. So I just usually go with vanilla socks, but I have been venturing out and not knitting as many vanilla socks by hand. I crank them and then I'm saving my hand knitting time for patterns that I find fascinating or beautiful or something that I want to knit. So the next pair I have are for my husband on his giant sock blockers. So my husband wears a size 14 men's sock shoe, and so he has a pair here. This is from Rusty. I have the tag. Rusty Spur Ranch and Creations. It's her 90% targy, 10% nylon, and I don't know the color. There's not a colorway on here. She doesn't usually have colorways. I see her at knitting retreats, knitting festivals. She's from up north. I think she's from Idaho. She used to be the one who hosted the log cabin spinning in Coeur d'Alene, but now she doesn't. She just dyes yarn and fibers and travels around. So I got these from her in Colville. I went to the spin-in Colville and she was bending, and I got these from her, which I really like. I was worried about the yarn bleeding, but she set the dye really, really well because it's got a lot of color saturation. I think I knit one row too long, but he's never gonna know. He will never know. So these are gonna go in his bucket for his Advent socks. Okay, and then I'll do the other one from Rusty Spurs. So I had two. I bought 2 of them that day. Yeah, that's when I bought them. Because in Ritzville, on my birthday, I got fiber from her. I got this really pretty hot pink and brown fiber. I haven't spun it yet. I don't know what I'm waiting on, but I need to get new giant sock blockers. There, the wood is flaking off. I wish I could find acrylic ones in this size, in size 14. I think these are 11 to 14. So these would be the extra large ones. every pair that, or every set of sock blockers I find only go up to like 13. I mean, I guess 13 would work, but. And so here's the second pair, same dyer, Rusty. She is online, Rusty Spur Ranching Creations. She's on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. She does have an email. I don't know if you can, I don't know if it's going to focus. It's rustyspurcreations.com is her website. She has stitch markers and all kinds of fun things. But, so here's the second pair. Also cranked on my machine. I like how they kind of did like a striping effect. I don't think they were supposed to, but that's how they came off my machine. So this is a 90% targi, 10% nylon. I really like the targi. It's very thick, firm. When it came off my machine, I was worried that they were going to be way too like tight because it definitely knit up at a very tight gauge. But once I blocked them, it loosened up and they're so soft now. So we have 2 more pairs of socks. I did finish other socks. Let me grab them. Before I do my last 2 pairs. So last month I talked about wanting to work on the bamboo pop sock. It's bamboo cotton nylon, I think. I don't know. I don't remember. But it's supposed to be for socks for like warmer weather. And my husband wants summer socks, which is fine. And so I went ahead and I cranked the 2 pairs that I had talked about on my machine. And they didn't turn out as good as I was hoping. I cranked them on my 64 cylinder machine, or cylinder on my sock machine. He wore them and they stretched out. So we're talking 64 stitches and they stretched out because it's the nature of the yarn. And so I thought, okay, fine. I need honest opinions. Like, if they don't fit right, they don't fit right. I don't care. I'll just redo them. It doesn't take me that long anymore. So then I thought, okay, so let's go to the 72 stitch cylinder, which I did. I put it on my machine, got it all ready, cranked a second pair, or cranked a pair. Nope, these were a fail because they didn't stay up. They just kept sliding down. Okay, fine. Perfect. I don't care. It's not a big deal. That's why I'm using my scraps to figure this out. So then I cranked another pair. This time on the 72 stitch cylinder, I used my heel spring for the whole entire sock. Good news, they stayed up. They didn't stretch out at all, which was great. But they're a little short right here. So he wore them. They're in the wash right now. I'm washing my socks. And I decided we're going to try again, which is fine. I don't care. That's the whole purpose of this. Well, I bought some Lycra from Erlbacher. We'll see how that goes. I've never used Lycra. It's like spandex, latex. It sucks in everything and it's heat activated. So I need to do some videos. It's supposed to be here today. We're going to find out. So I'm going to rip out all of these pairs and then I'm going to put them back on cones and I'm going to crank again. So the pair that were not a horrible success, that were a success but not a horrible success, I'm gonna crank the cuff longer. So instead of doing 10 rounds with the heel spring on, I'm going to do 15. So it'll be 15 and 15. So it's going to give more here. And then I'm going to add some more length in the leg, because I usually do 10, a heel tab, 10, and I fold it. Then I do 10 for the leg. I think I might do 15 for his leg, and then start his heel, which is a deep heel. And he mentioned something about maybe adding a little length to the foot. I might do that. I might add 5 or 10 rows. We'll see. If they're too big, I'll just take out the toe and I'll just hand knit the toe. That's fine. Not a big deal. And I know I said that he wants to wear these in the summer for work, and that he's only supposed to wear black socks. So he wears shorts in the summer. Hence why he needs to wear black socks. And that's why we're putting black on the cuffs so you can't see him. In the winter, nobody sees the socks because he wears long pants. But in the summertime, he wears his shorts. And that's why he needs to have black socks. I mean, all of his socks are supposed to be black, but at this point, they don't care. Nobody's going to say anything. The only thing they say is, what socks do you have on today? So that's why those have to be black cuffs, because he wears his shorts. In the summer, he works outside. I say that. In the summer, he usually does. It's busy. When it's busy, he'll have to work outside, and it gets hot here. Not as hot in some places, but if you are working outside, and he works with cars, and so like the blacktop, the asphalt's really hot, and getting in and out of cars that have been sitting for hours, you know, it's 115 degrees in a car. And so he'll wear his shorts all summer long at work. I mean, he's not supposed to, but he made a point that if you want me out here doing this, then I need to be able to wear my shorts because I get too hot. So we're going to go back to the drawing board on those. Like I said, my Lycra will be here today. I'll have to watch some videos on how to use Lycra. We'll figure it out, trial and error. I don't think, the only thing I worry about, I don't think it'll be as easy to rip out with Lycra if I screw up. I feel like it's probably like mohair. I'm also worried about it because a lot of people I was reading are allergic to Lycra. If they have a latex allergy, it's similar to latex. I have a latex allergy. We'll have to see how it goes. I'm not really going to be touching it that much until I, you know, Kitchener. So I don't know. Hopefully it doesn't have little fluff balls that like mohair to make me itchy and sneezy. We'll see. I've never seen it in person, so I don't really know what it's like. I've only seen it online, and I've seen what people do with it. You can make baby socks, toddler socks, on a regular cylinder with Lycra. You take out like every other needle and you knit the sock per the usual, but then it shrinks. Fascinating. Fascinating. I might be doing that. I do have a couple little wee ones that I could crank socks for. I mean, they're babies. They're going to grow for really fast, but whatever. That's what I do. All right, so here's another pair. This pair is Knit Pick Stroll and Dandelion. I filmed a video of me cranking one of these socks, and I uploaded it last week, I think. Yeah, it's this sock. I cranked this sock, and I filmed it. I know because I dropped some stitches. It almost came out in the wash. These are for my son. He won't know that there's any errors or drop stitches. He's gonna wear them. So I used Knit Picks Felici for the cuff and the toe, and then I just used the stroll for the foot. I have one more pair of Knit Picks Felici, but my Knit Picks stash, sock yarn stash, is gone. There's no more. I finished it all. It's exciting. Kind of sad now. But, so, that was exciting when I finished these pairs, because now I know it's all gone, and I have a whole bin that was Knit Picks sock yarns, Felici and Stroll, that is now officially empty. You know, it's full of other yarn now, but that's gone. So here is his other pair. So this isn't a, I feel like it's Sonora Sunset, but I could be wrong. They don't match. The toes do. But there was a cut in the yarn here. You can see. There was a cut right here where the colors, I guess they ran out or added an extra ball. So that's about where, from the toe up, where it altered the skein. But they don't have to match. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. They're not. He wears them. He loves them. And so nobody in my house requires matching socks. If I can match them, I will. Nobody cares. They just get them, wear them, love them, ask me to wash them, and then I do. So matching socks are not a big deal unless I purposely want to make them match. All right, I guess, is that all of my finished objects? I can't show the pair of socks because they're a secret, which I'll be able to show later. It's for a collaboration that Nancy's doing with a yarn dyer. Sorry, my throat's a little dry this morning. I'm just drinking I call it my at-home coffee. I used to have when I worked outside of the house, let's just start with that. When I left the house, I would always stop by my coffee shop. It's literally down the street. So I live on a main road. I would literally come out of the neighborhood, turn right, go to the coffee shop, come out of the coffee shop, turn right, I'm back in my neighborhood. That's how close it is. So I used to go visit them. It's Swell Coffee. They have a roaster on property, so they roast their own coffee, and I will get my I'll get coffee from them. But, well, you know, coffee, whole beans. I used to get whole beans. And then I put my grinder somewhere. I don't know where it is. Same with my espresso machine. I have no clue where my espresso machine is. We've been doing so much work with the house that we've been cleaning a bunch of stuff and putting it in our garage in bins. My grinder, my espresso machine, they're out there somewhere. But anyways, so my at-home coffee is made on my Keurig. I just use the donut shop and peppermint mocha creamer. If I do get coffee shop coffee, I am a quad shot white chocolate ice mocha kind of girl. I only drink this coffee hot, and I do the same at the lake. I mean, there is a coffee shop there. It's a really cute coffee shop. We like it. It's good. It's not my favorite. I prefer my coffee shop. I prefer my ladies. But anyway, so that's what I'm drinking, if you're wondering, in my very old reusable plastic cup. I think I got them from Walmart years ago. I have some at the lake. I was gonna put it in one of my normal mugs, but the one I grabbed has naughty words on it, so I decided not to do that. It's a Poly Studios cup. It says naughty words. I love it. I'm here for it. Maybe one day I'll show you guys. I have a travel one too that I take with us to the lake, especially if we're going on the boat. Because it's like 16 ounces. Has a little lid, keeps my coffee warm for a while. I also have a travel mug. I have a few. I have a Keurig out at the trailer. I used to travel with my espresso machine. I would go back and forth, but then I put it away and I don't know where it is. So there's that. All right, let's get on to whips since I've been talking about coffee now for, I don't know, what feels like forever. So I can't show you the sock I'm knitting for Nancy. That's her sequel, but I can show you the yarn. So the main color is this. It's out of, my lights are dying, I guess. Well, this really pretty pink. It's a merino cashmere nylon. It's from Alexandria, The Art of Yarn. It was a Guilty Pleasures set. It came with this really pretty purple mini. And so this is what I'm using. So the whole sock, except for the heel and toe, are in this. Because this doesn't have cashmere in it, just a merino nylon. And I prefer, if I'm going to knit with cashmere, I prefer a stronger heel and toe. So the cuff is this color, heel and toe is this. So I'm hoping to have the second sock done this weekend. I got the pattern last Friday, and I already finished one sock. One of the great things about Nancy's patterns, if you've never knit, when it's in my Yarnable Delicue snap bag, it's just black with stripes. I really like these. They're, I don't know, they're really great. I do like them. I have a few of them. But back to Nancy. One of the really great things about Nancy's pattern is they're very, you can memorize them, and so you can just go. And they're very addicting. So like when you're hand knitting self-striping yarn, how you're like, oh, I want to get to the next one, That's how it is with her patterns. So you do a repeat and you're like, oh, I'm going to do the next one, and I want to do the next one. And so for me, her patterns, her socks, I knit them super fast. The first sock, I got it on Friday. By Sunday morning, I was done with it. Kitchener, everything was done. And then sock 2, I have it here. I can't tell you that I have it here. I have the cuff done. Already 3 of the pattern repeats. I need 7.5. So I have 4.5, which will not take me any time at all to get it finished. At all. It will take no time. So today, that's my project that I'm going to work on. After I get done here, in between laundry and dishes and my usual Friday things. When I go to the doctor, I'm going to knit that when I'm waiting. But yeah, her patterns, if you've never knit one, you should look at them. It's Knit Sip Happy Nancy. She has so many fun socks. So many fun. And they just, very understandable, very memorizable, very intuitive, very addicting. They're a lot of fun. So my second work in progress, I guess technically this is kind of a finished object. Kind of not. So these would be the socks that I was going to work on when I went to the Gonzaga game. But I got COVID, so I couldn't. And so I had started on the cuff. But then we were going somewhere and I didn't have a sock ready to go. And so I just grabbed these because the bag was ready. And so I finished one sock, well, finished one too, but I need to put it in the heel. I haven't decided how I'm going to do the heel yet, so I'm going to start the second sock. But I have the little light bulb stitch markers. They mark 20 rounds. But we have, this is all Lolo did it. Do I have her tags? I do. So it's Lolo did it. Oh, nope, not that one. Nope, not that one. That's another sock that I finished for Nancy. Maybe I don't have them. So it's Lolo did it. This is her, like, I don't remember. I know one's Sriracha, Naked Hippo, Blue Suede Shoes. I don't remember this. I feel like it's Freedom, but I could be wrong. It's all on her Lolo Original or her sock yarn. But these are going to be for my husband when I get them finished. I haven't cast on the cuff yet, which I need to do. But we'll get around to it. So another pair of socks. I have some on my needles is some DK sock yarn or some socks. So the main color is this. I think it's called, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know what it's called. I wrote it down, I think. Maybe I didn't. But it was from last year's Yarnable subscription that I get. I get the fingering weight and the DK weight. The fingering weight is on her plush sock. The DK is the deluxe, and it comes with a contrasting mini. It's 50 grams and 100 grams. And so I'm trying to finish up my last few pairs, or last few skeins that I had from last year. And these are going to be for my husband. I don't know if you can. Sorry guys, let me grab my sock blockers. So there's not a pattern for this. This is just a made up pattern in my head. I feel like as knitters, that's what you do. You just make something up. But it's a 2x2 ribbing and then a 4-row repeat. And then a heel flap and gusset. There's nothing on the back. It's just stockinette. I've gotten through the decreases, and so I'm on my foot. So I still have that much to go before I finish the foot. I'm calling these jump into spring socks. That's what they are on Ravelry. But there's no pattern for it. It's all made up in my head. So that's another pair. That shouldn't take me too long to finish. I need to finish them. But again, with pattern socks are a little bit harder for me because I need to have some form of my measuring tools, whether it's the sock blocker or my little foot ruler. And there's times where I don't want to take a big purse and a big bag and be able to take that around with me. So I'll leave them on my desk and I work on them here at home. Another pair of socks that are a work in progress is another test knit that I'm doing. So it's a 2x2 rib with a smocking detail. This is out of Cascade Heritage Sock. I have it in my cake, my yarn cozy. This is a Nitty Natty yarn cozy that I knit. I used some scrap yarn. I don't know what I was thinking. These are knit on size 0 needles. I don't know that I've ever knit socks on a size 0. I don't know what I was thinking. And it's a 2x2 rib. 80 stitches. Really? So, anyways, we're working through it. These don't have, I only have to have one sock done by May. So I knit a few rows. It hurts my hands because of how small the needles are. I think that's why I don't typically knit that small needles. I might switch out for my, I have a pair of size 0 Knitter's Pride tiny circulars that I might switch it out to. We'll see. That might not hurt my hands as much and I might be able to go faster. Like I said, I have some time. Having surgery, that's probably when I'm going to do those. I think I'm going to make them shorties. I'm not sure. So another whip I have was my Quadrophenia blanket out of my DK, this year's DK Yarnable subscription. I don't know what I was thinking. It wasn't going to be big enough. I was only using 20 grams. I should have used 40. So I thought, oh, well, I can knit it and then repeat the colors. And then I thought, I don't want to do that. So I decided to rip it out. Well, I was like, oh, well, I'll just rip it out to the very first color. Then I will knit 40 grams. I don't know what I was thinking because I ripped it all the way out, 100% of the way. And I decided to cast on something new. So because my subscription comes with a 50 gram and 100 gram skein, I decided to do the Anthology throw by Helen Stewart, Curious Handmade. And so I started one of these with my Christmas advent, my Christmas vacation that I got from Polka Dot Creek. And some of the rounds I was using all the colors, and some of the rounds I wasn't using all of them. So I got mad, sad, angry, whatever you want to call it. And I ripped it out and I started over. I started the quadrophenia because I want to use up as much of the yarn. So I decided I have the pattern. Let's just do this blanket because I have enough yarn to finish each section. So this is section 1, which is in the January colorway with the contrasting colorway. And then this I started February, so I'm just a couple rows into February. And this is the Love is Love, This Is How Time Flies. And the contrast, this contrast is Clockwork Dreams. And then the contrast for, I don't remember what it's called. I am failing today with remembering these things. So this is the Love is Love MDK. And then this is the contrasting. So on round 1 and 2, I used right at 40 grams for the main color for this color. And then this one I used right about 40 grams. So it's going to take me about 40 grams per section, but I feel like I'm going to get a bigger blanket and it's going to make me happier. And then I'll have to figure out what to do with the rest of the yarn. I'll figure it out. We always do. Alrighty. So 2 more whips that I want to talk about. So here is my Stephen West shawl. So when I first showed it to you guys, I had finished the center section. Clue 1. So clue 1. So I was able to get clue 2 done, which is this eyelet section, and I did a mohair added onto it in this. This has the mohair. And I got the second clue on the second side. And then I started on clue 3, and this is how far I got, and to the point where I stopped to do my test knit. So I just have to, I only have a few, so this keeps decreasing and to a point, and then I'll do the same on this side. I don't have stitch stoppers on here. I'm definitely living on the edge, aren't I? Right? So it's really pretty. It's got mohair. Well, it's got suri. It doesn't have mohair. But yeah. So I don't know when I'm going to pick this back up. Probably when I finish my sweater. I really like it. It's really pretty. So, and that's all out of Punk Rock Unicorn and their sock base. Have it in all my little yarn koozies. I even ripped out the first clue and I was using the little tiny balls for like some of the rows because they were short. And then for my test knit sweater, so I'm test knitting a sweater for Vanessa Smith Designs. She has a lot of fun patterns. This is my first time testing for her. So far it's going really well. She's very involved in the test knitting process. So any question anyone has or any suggestion, like she is 100% involved. I've test knit a few times where people aren't as involved. Designers aren't as involved, but she's very, very involved. And so it's been a lot of fun. I got gauge, but I'm worried that it might end up looser because I relax. As the more I knit something, the looser my gauge gets. But anyways, so I'm test knitting the sweater. It's knit out of either DK and mohair held together to make worsted or just a worsted weight yarn. So I'm using Woolies, Lion Brand Woolies in this pretty, it's a blush heather. I don't know if you can see it. Might be blurry. So during the Super Bowl, Joann's was having a sale on their Lion Brand yarn. It's like $3.50 a skein and 20% off if you do on or in-store pickup. So I ended up getting a sweater's quantity of woolies for $30. Less than $30. I can't go wrong with that. I figured if I don't like the fit of the sweater, I will give it to somebody who can wear it, but then if it's 100% wool, they're not going to take care of it. So I opted for an acrylic because this is 80% acrylic, 20% wool. So if I am not in love with it, then I can give it away and I don't have to worry about it getting ruined. So yeah, so I can't show you the pattern, the actual pattern. I can show you done, and my dye lots are so off, so you can see it. This is a lot lighter than the actual sleeve. I mean, it's distinctive, you can tell, but I have one sleeve done. I did an alternating cable, then I have the second sleeve, so I have it on spare cables with little stoppers. I'm using my clover, or yeah, taupe clover. I brought it down. So this is the very first interchangeable needle set that I've ever bought. I bought it with a 40% off coupon from somewhere. And so I'm using it because when I swatched on my metal needles, and my swatch was too small. And I don't swatch. I would have just jumped right in and said, hey, we're using metal needles. This sweater is knit out of worsted weight, and this was knit at an 18 stitch gauge. And I knit that with my metal needles, but this sweater requires a 20 stitch to the 4 inches. So I needed two stitches. And I had swatched with metal, I swatched with my chow goose, and I had to go down to a 3. It's weird. The 3 gave me the size I needed, but I didn't want to knit a worsted weight sweater on size 3 needles. So I decided, well, here, I have some bamboo needles upstairs and size 7. Let me knit a few rows, swatch and check. And the size 7 obviously was too many because it's big. So then I thought, okay, well, it was like 1 stitch too many. So I thought, oh, well, I'm pretty close. Let me just cast on with bamboo needles. And so I'm using my clover interchangeables. One of the things I like about these, it's very similar to like chow goo, but you can get, so I have my cables, but you can get extra cables. And if you break a tip or whatever, Joann's carries these. Joann, I always say Joann's, but it's Joann. They carry these in stores. So I have a bunch of extra cables. So there was a point when my Joann marked all these on clearance. All of them got marked down. They were like $2.99. And so I bought literally everything they had. Because for $2.99, I bought up the entire stock that they had. I also bought extra needles. So, what size are these? 13s? So at one point I had lost my size 13 tips. I don't know what I did with them. And then I found them. They were probably in a project bag somewhere. And so I have an extra pair. But I bought every tip that they had extra just in case it broke them. So I have technically enough to make 2 sets of these. Just don't have a case for it. But, and then I'll tell you about this in a minute. So you can see there's only 2 needles, so 1 and 2. So I had bought them, and I bought extras, and if they go on clearance again, I'd probably buy them again. I've been knitting since 2004. Ow, I just smacked myself. I'm pretty sure I've had these since like 2010. And I have extras in case they die or get ruined. or break. Luckily my dog doesn't eat my yarn or my knitting, so I don't really have to worry about that. But yeah. Oh, so I was gonna say, so for those of you who've knit projects and you go from a smaller needle on ribbing to a bigger needle, you probably know the pain of trying to slide all those stitches onto the bigger needle. So I'm knitting the ribbing on a size 4, the body of the sweater and our sleeves are on a size 6. So I knit my ribbing on my size 4s, and instead of forcing them on the 6, I leave the 4 on the, so you're looking at it and you have your little cable. So this is the one that I'm working with. So this is what's knitting all the stitches, and this is just the placeholder. I leave the smaller needle, so the size 4 on this side, and then I knit all the stitches with the size 6. I did it with my sleeves because I'd knit my sleeve. I started out knitting my sleeves 2 at a time on one needle, and then I was worried that it was going to be too tight because I'm a tight knitter when I do 2 at a time. So I went ahead and I separated them onto the size 16 cables, and I left a 4 and a 6. So I used both of them, and I would knit a row, knit a row, knit a row, knit a row. But then when I did my ribbing, I did the same thing. I left my 4 on my left hand side, my 6 on the right hand side. So this is the one that's knitting all the stitches. That way it's easier to slide. I could probably slide it. I could probably put the size 6s on now, but I'm like 7 inches to the body, 7 inches into the body. I don't know if it would be worth it to change now. My coffee's all done. So, is that all? Is that all the stuff I've been working on that I wanted to talk about? Oh, I am knitting some, or I do have a pair of socks on my machine for my mother-in-law. Making her some shorty socks. I'll show you these. We're at an hour and 8 minutes. I'm sure I'm going to cut some of this out because at one point I was rambling and I don't remember what I was talking about. It's early. We'll blame it on it being early. Woke up and just decided that I might as well get up, start my laundry, and do my stuff. So I'm making her a pair of shorty socks. So for her birthday, Mother's Day, and Christmas, I always make her socks. So she gets 3 pairs of socks a year. So her birthday socks, her birthday's in April, and so I'm working on her shorty socks. And I'm using this yarn. And kind of, the sun is coming in through my window, except the egress window right there. And I didn't close my blinds. But, so remember how I told you that she is allergic to wool? Right? Which, I sometimes wonder if she wouldn't be able to wear them on her feet. We haven't tested that theory yet. Maybe someday. So, with that being said, I will frequent the big box stores, Hobby Lobby, Joann, and Michael's in my area. They're not very far from me. And I will see what they have for, these ones are acrylic and polyester. She likes them. They work for her, whatever. And so Hobby Lobby had, I don't think they have it anymore, Yarn Bee Cozy Toes. And so this is their sock yarn that they had that was non-wool, and they were marking it all down. They were getting rid of it. It was $1.24 a ball, a skein, a ball, whatever you want to call it. I bought them all. I bought every pair that they had. Or every ball that they had. I got this one. I think this one I got 10 balls. Should end up with 10 pairs of socks in this color. It'll be different, but I bought them all because it's a little bit harder. I know Barocco makes an alternative, and I do have I have 3 skeins of that upstairs. And it's only $8, so it's not super expensive. But when you can get it for $1.24 a ball, one ball I can make a pair of socks out of if they're not matching. But I'm making her shorty socks. They're on my machine. Well, one sock's on my machine right now. I'm at the toe. I just need to crank the waist yarn and then I can start the second one. But I'm kind of sad that they don't have this anymore. I don't know how much it was originally. Oh, it was $4.99 a ball originally. I just dropped it on the floor. So it's $5, so 2 balls would make $10. It's about the going rate for a basic yarn and a fingering weight. So anyways, so I bought all of them. I have a whole drawer full of them. And that's what I use for. Some of them I have one, some of them I have more. So that's what I use for her socks. And then I also, so this one, I don't know if Michael's, this is something I got at Michael's. It's their Perfect Pair line. It's a, where is it? 70% acrylic, 23% viscose from bamboo, and 7% polyester. So another wool-free option. These were on sale at Michael's one day because they were getting rid of all their colors. And again, in true fashion, I bought all that they had that was on sale. So I probably have 6 of those available for sock yarn. And then I have the 3 Barocco. My local yarn store, Paradise Fibers, carries Barocco, so I can always get more from them. If these bamboo socks, if my Universal Yarns bamboo pop works out, eventually, if I figure it out, these would be a good option for her as well, because they have no wool in them. She's very, very much just throw it on the washer and wash and dry it. So I don't know. I don't know if wool would be a good option. I gifted my father-in-law and my brother-in-law a pair of socks. I'm wondering if they're still alive. So, but I had started. I got the cuff done. When I was doing the test knit for the new test knit, so we did the one, but this one right here, I'd actually use this yarn for another test knit of Nancy's. And I had started it, and you couldn't see the motif very well in that yarn. And so when she put out the testing call and I saw what it was, and I was like, ooh, sign me up, I want to do them. I was worried that, and I knew I was going to use this yarn. It was caked up. It was in the thing. It's been waiting. I'm knitting, I didn't see. I'm knitting this pair on my unicorn, my Addie unicorn needles. But anyways, so, squirrel. So anyways, I've knit enough of Nancy's socks to know what her cuff is. And so I went ahead and I knit the cuff of these. And then I thought, what happens if you can't see the motif, the pattern in this yarn? And when we got added to the testing group, that was my biggest concern. I was like, oh, so guys, you've seen this yarn before. You know I've tried before with this on the last one. We're going to try it again. And so I went ahead and I did the cuff, cast it on, waited for the pattern to come out. But in the meantime, I was worried. So I went ahead and I cast on these. So I have the cuff on, in case you couldn't see it in the other yarn, which you can, so it's not a big deal. But I have these ready to go. I think not this round, not this pattern, but the next pattern. No, not. So we're finishing up this one. She has a colorwork one coming out, I think. And then another set. I think I'm going to save this for, Nancy's releasing a lot of patterns this summer. These are my Chalgu needles, size 1, 2.25 millimeter. These, I don't remember. But, so I have this ready to go. So I figure I can use this for one of her other patterns that she's going to release. It's all ready to go. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I may, you know, I may hand knit the same pattern I'm testing right now on these, just to have an extra pair. Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, I really need to get my test knits finished before I start anything new. I really need to do some spinning. We'll see if that happens. I also need to clean the house. Don't want to do that. That's boring. That's part of life. But if I get all my stuff done, then I can sit and knit for the rest of the day, which is exciting and not boring. But I want to finish my sweater. I want to finish my Stephen West shawl. I need to get caught back up on my Yarnable blanket. Finish this test knit for Nancy. Finish the other test knit. Crank all the socks. Those are my plans. I talked about what we're doing for the month of March. In the beginning, what our plans are. Other than that, working on the basement when we're home. We go for drives, but we don't really go many places. I think that's everything. I have to take my son to work, so I have to leave here in a few minutes to do that. But I can't think of anything else. I know. Awkward silence. Alrighty, so for now, I guess that's it. We will see what happens when I get accomplished in this month. I know I didn't knit nearly as much as I did in the month of January. Work was crazy this month, so if I was getting up early, it was getting up to start work. Since I work 10-hour days, I'm not staying extra past 5:30. I'd rather wake up at 4:30 and start at 5 than start at 7 and work till 7. Cuts into my evening knitting time. So I'd rather just get up early and work and then get to go upstairs and knit when I get off work. But I'm hoping March isn't as busy. Maybe because it was a short month, that's why it was crazy. I'm not sure. But yeah. So I think we're going to be done here. I don't know. I'm hoping, and I said talking about future plans. Going down to Moscow, I think I'm going to spin. I'm going to take my big wheel when I spin. Instead of my little eel wheel nanos. Electric eel wheel nano. I have 2. But yeah, I guess we'll see what happens. Alrighty guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me for an hour while I rambled about yarn and knitting things that I've done. But I hope you guys have a great month, and I will see you next time. Thank you.